Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon, and it's another day, another daily dose of stupidity. Yeah, we're going to talk about the Idris Elba situation. I got a hat tip from Squid King, who said, "Hey, Dad, do you know what's going on with Idris Elba?" I said, "No, I have no idea." Well, apparently he's not black enough. Idris Elba is not black enough. His character of Luther is not black enough to be real, says the BBC Chief Diversity Officer. We're going to talk about these diversity and inclusion initiatives, and we've been talking about it because we're seeing this sort of shape entertainment going forward, and it doesn't always work out very well, does it? We have a lot of situations like this where you're not diverse enough, you don't have the right mixture of persons represented. It's opening itself up to sort of be the opposite of what they claim to be, right? Pushing racism, telling people that they're not whatever culture, whatever gender enough, even though they are, because people are individuals, right? They're not just a category, a broad category of kind of a person. People are individuals, and we've lost sight of that. That even though large groups of people may experience different sorts of things based on the broader category of person they are, everybody has their own individual experiences. But we don't want individualism anymore because that's problematic. You might start thinking for yourself, or speaking out of turn, or doing something else that the man doesn't like, or the woman, whatever, whoever it is. In this case, it's a woman, Miranda Wayland. We're going to talk about it. Before we get into it, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We're over 185,000 subs. Thank you so much for the support. This is coming from The Wrap. It's coming from IndieWire. It's coming from Twitter. We're going to talk about all of this. Idris Elba's Luther was not black enough to be real, said the BBC Chief Diversity Officer. The UK cop doesn't have any black friends and doesn't eat any Caribbean food, says Miranda Wayland during an industry conference. What? BBC's Chief Diversity Officer doesn't think the lead character in the former BBC drama Luther, which starred Idris Elba in that title role, was black enough to be real. When Luther first came out, everybody loved the fact that Idris Elba was in there, a really strong black character lead, Miranda Wayland said on Monday during a conversation on BBC's Diversity and Inclusion Strategy at the digital MIPTV conference. "We all fell in love with him. Who didn't, right? But after you got into about the second series, you got kind of like, oh, he doesn't have any black friends. He doesn't eat any Caribbean food. This doesn't feel authentic." The drama, which starred Idris Elba as DCI John Luther, ran for 5 series, the UK version of seasons, and has had 20 episodes between 2010 and 2019. Luther creator Neil Cross, who is white, responded to Wayland's comments to the Daily Mail. "I have no knowledge or expertise or right to try and tackle in some way the experience of being a black man in modern Britain. It would have been an act of tremendous arrogance for me to try and write a black character. We would have ended up with a slightly embarrassed, ignorant, middle-class white writer's idea of a black character." Reps for Elba did not immediately return the Wrap's request for comments, probably because they're going to tell you to go piss off. Wayland argued that it's not enough to just have a black character in the lead and think that's enough for diversity. It's never enough. It's about having those great big landmark shows with those key characters, but it's also about making sure everything around them, their environment, their culture, the set, everything is absolutely reflective. It will be very much about how we can make sure this program is authentic in terms of storytelling. So this is the problem. You're not allowed to write outside of your lane. We've seen authors cancel books about other cultures, even if they're fictitious, because they feel like they don't have a right to write about anything outside of their own experience. At that point, everybody's writing autobiographies. Nobody's acting. We're not allowed to play outside of our lane. This is getting kind of stupid. It's getting kind of stupid. Now, would a black person living in Britain probably have a little more perspective as to what it's like? Yeah, you could ask some people, but would that black person living in Britain know what it's like to be a detective? I don't know. Were they a detective? So you're saying all black people like Caribbean food? Isn't that kind of stereotypical? It's like, what are you going for here? You guys are actually becoming or sounding very racist by stereotyping people. This character is not black enough, doesn't like Caribbean food. That'd be like saying over here in the States, this character can't be black, they've never been to a Popeyes. You know, I mean, what the hell? What the hell? Last year, the BBC committed to spending £112 million to support diverse productions over 3 years, as well as to have 1/5 of the production staff from diverse backgrounds. This is getting kind of silly. There are no comments. How can there not be any comments? Did they purge them all? Yeah, so she's getting some backlash from this. Calvin Robinson says, yesterday it was implied I'm not black enough because I didn't have any black friends in my photo. Today, BBC's diversity chief says Idris Elba's Luther isn't black enough because he doesn't have any black friends. These lazy stereotypes are racist. Yes, Calvin, they are. Great thing about Luther is that skin color isn't the core of his identity, nor should it be. He's fighting many battles, an example that we're all human, we all struggle, but our ethnicity doesn't always play a part in that. Doesn't always. And again, people are different. People have different experiences, and yeah, your ethnicity absolutely plays into that. But when you start categorizing people as they're just their skin color, they're just their gender, they're just what they have between their legs, you're sounding sort of racist and homophobic or heterophobic or transphobic or whatever. You're putting people in the categories. You're making them one-dimensional. If you want real characters, you got to flesh them out a little bit. This dude, the police turn on Luther every chance they get. How is that not an authentic black character? Go out to Twitter. You've got Sir Frank. Turns out Idris Elba is so white. Maybe he can be the next James Bond now. Right? Oh, get fucked, says Sick Boy. Not to mention Idris Elba is of Ghanaian and Sierra Leonean descent. His parents came from West Africa, not the West Indies. Oh, it's all the same, right? All black people are the same. They're all from the same place, right, BBC? Right? Do you want me to eat a salty fish patty in every other scene or some shit? I just read the BBC's head of diversity, Miranda Wayland, says Idris Elba's TV character Luther isn't black enough to be real because he doesn't have black friends or eat Caribbean food. Just because Luther likes pie and mash instead of jerk chicken doesn't make him any less black. Darren Grimes, according to the Times, the BBC's diversity chief has argued that Idris Elba's Luther isn't authentically black enough because he doesn't have any black friends and doesn't eat Caribbean food. Baffling. Nobody thinks this is a good look, BBC. This isn't a good look. This is the person in charge of your diversity and inclusion initiatives. And they're like, why isn't he eating more Caribbean food? Why isn't he listening to rap music and going to Popeyes? I mean, come the hell on. So, yeah, you know, this is a conversation that's going to come up again and again and again and again because the entertainment industry is tripping over itself, trying to be diverse and inclusive. And what that means basically to a lot of these executives is we just hire somebody who's not white to be put in charge of this, and we just hire more actors who aren't white, aren't straight, aren't male, whatever, and we get a certain ratio. It doesn't matter if the show's any good, doesn't matter if it makes sense or not. Make sure you mix it up. We're committed to a certain percentage of representation on screen. Doesn't matter if it's authentic or not. Well, it didn't. Now, apparently, it does. But even Forbes last year, coming from Dana Brownlee, she said, you know, the diversity and inclusion councils, committees, and leaders to supposedly dismantle racism and build anti-racist workplaces, it's actually counterintuitive. That seemingly logical inclination may actually be a grave mistake. While diversity and inclusion may sound a lot like anti-racism, they're really not the same thing. And some organizations asking the chief diversity officer or D&I committee chair to lead its anti-racism efforts might be as inappropriate and as ineffective as asking the chief human resources officer to design and code a new SharePoint site for employee feedback. While D&I is quite broad by design, anti-racism, on the other hand, is a much more specific problem requiring targeted focus. Yeah, and again, having your diversity and inclusion lead going out there and saying Idris Elba is not black enough because he doesn't eat Caribbean food, he doesn't have enough black friends, that sounds kind of racist. It sounds like this person really isn't up to the job. I don't know. I think we're going to see a lot of stupidity like this. We're going to see a lot more stupidity like this. We've been following the situation with voice actors, particularly voice actors who work in and around the Walt Disney Company, on The Simpsons, on Family Guy. And we're seeing that Disney is definitely pushing for diversity and inclusion, but it is kind of a wrong-headed approach in some cases. They're jumping the gun, they're overcorrecting, overreacting, making their actors go out and apologize for things that they've done. I think that's what's going on with Hank Azaria. I don't know for 100% certain, but it is awfully weird that the dude took the check for 30 plus years playing Apu, and all of a sudden he's willing to go out there and apologize to every Indian American in the country personally. So it's going to take him quite some time. I think you're going to be on the road for the next couple of years there, Hank. I don't know. We're going to see more of this stupidity as everybody trips over themselves, trying to not look like racists and looking like racists in the process. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, and we'll talk to you guys later.